You've got to be very respectful of the water. We were flying blind.
For weeks on end, there was absolutely nothing.
Awful 4 days of my life, I reckon.
What could potentially be coming up from the deep? Rowing was a byproduct of us signing up for the Talisker Whisky Atlantic Challenge. This had always been on my list, on my bucket list. Contacted a friend who I knew would be quite like-minded and would quite fancy the opportunity. So I sold it to him, and that was it, that was history.
The trigger point to basically turn up here, pick up a pair of blades and learn to row. The distance is 3,000 miles, starting from La Gomera in the Canary Islands, and it finishes in Antigua. Generally takes teams anything from 35 to 40 days, all the way up to over 100 days to complete. And we ourselves, we're going to compete in the pairs category.
We'd paid our deposits for the row, we knew we were going to do it. We actually contemplated not speaking to anyone at the rowing club because we thought we'd probably get laughed out of there, you know. And we came down and said, hey, guess what we've signed up for? And half expecting to be shooed away, but actually the club was very embracing. They sort of took us under their wing and showed us the ropes, and we learned the sport of coastal rowing, which is very, very different. So you have your flat water rowing in rivers and lakes, and then you have your coastal rowing, and then you have ocean rowing.
It's a fact that it's difficult and not many people have done it, but what also draws me to it is the fact it's a new discipline. It's something I've never done before, and it's a chance for me to learn some new skills and really test myself.
For the last 10 years we've been running ultramarathons, and then we did a bit of cycling and we did a bit of triathlon, and that was always new and exciting. The thought of having a new challenge and a completely new sport to learn, that's been really, really exciting.
You've got to be very respectful of the water. More often than not, we're fighting something. We're fighting tide, we're fighting wind, or we're moving very quickly in the boat, which is brilliant. To rowing your hardest and not moving at all, which is obviously very difficult mentally.
To take part in the challenge, we decided to sort of put a plan in place to reach out to corporate sponsors. Hydropool was one of those sponsors. We contacted them, we explained the challenge. Hydropool were very excited.
When we first started talking, there was clearly a lot of synergy. The water is linked to the challenge we're doing, and obviously the water is linked to the service that Hydropool offer. We just started having a conversation maybe about what level of sponsorship they may want to come in at, and then we were chuffed to bits when they decided to come in as gold level.
Rowing itself, when we're on the ocean, it's not going to be much cardiovascular, it's not going to be high output. Our bodies need to be strong and they need to be injury proof.
We follow a program where we're maybe 4 or 5 days a week in the gym, doing probably 1 hour kind of sessions, various weights, various sets, getting heavier and heavier.
We do have busy lives. Between us, we've got 5 children and 4 dogs. We've both got busy jobs.
Doing this challenge puts a huge pressure on kind of your work-life balance and kind of how you fit it all in per day. There's only so many hours in the day, and that's on the basis that you get up at a certain time. So I've started to create more hours in the day by simply setting the alarm clock a bit earlier.
I'll train when I can fit it in and when I can squeeze it in. Work and family have taken priority still, but we fit in what we can, and if the weather's not great, we'll do admin work and we'll make the most of opportunities.
We're a team, we're doing this together.
Oh my God, this is it. We got 2 months on this little thing, out here in the middle of an ocean with no support. We're confident that we can leave La Gomera and we can go, this boat's nails. Let's crush it. Just about 30 knots. It keeps turning us sideways on.
We knew there would be challenges. We didn't know what they'd be.
I think the biggest challenge for us once we left La Gomera was to establish a routine, but we couldn't really do that until we knew what day-to-day life was going to be like. So we had planned to cook our food. We did that for the first day. I burnt myself half a dozen times and we said no more cooked meals. So from the first day onwards, for the next 53 days, we only ate cold food. We had a strange sleeping pattern, so we rode 1 hour on, 1 hour off every day for 10 days, which is pretty unheard of. Most people would tend to establish a routine of 2 hours on, 2 hours off. Our backsides are so painful with sores and salt water and pressure sores that we just couldn't sit down for more than an hour. But the downside to that is you just don't sleep for 10 days. You have 30-minute little naps every hour or so.
When we went out, we had everything on, and we expected to be able to operate that way, but we quickly found our batteries getting depleted. We started having particular issues with GPS. The further away from land we got, we were losing GPS signal, which meant we were literally kind of flying blind.
The wind's always with us, but the tide doesn't always feel to be with us. It's very thick rowing, it's very heavy. You can feel every kilo of the 1,200 kilo boat that we're pulling along.
It took a while before we learned what the boat was capable of. So you see the biggest wave you've ever seen, and it's 30 foot high, and you know it's just coming towards you like a scary wall of white water. And you think, this is it, we're going to capsize, this is going to be a big problem. And then the boat just rolls with it, just floats over the top of this wave, and you think, okay, it's a bit more reassuring.
You quickly have to work out that kind of the ocean is king, and you're just kind of a visitor on this vast expanse. And I think the moment you do get a bit cocky and almost think that you've nailed it and you've mastered the ocean, you get a quick warning sign from the ocean that you haven't. Normally a massive wave, a sideswipe or something to knock the boat. So yeah, you do have to kind of, it's quite humbling actually being out there.
Christmas Day. It's 25th of December, it's now the 29th of December in the afternoon, and we've gone absolutely nowhere. Everything's wet. If you're outside, everything's covered in seawater. If you're in here, everything's covered in sweat and condensation. All our tech's knackered. iPods, Kindles, iPhones, iPads.
I mean, the 4 days at Christmas bunkered down were probably the most awful 4 days of my life, I reckon.
Quite a depressing time. I found it very, very difficult.
Yeah.
I didn't want to eat, I didn't want to drink.
If we went outside, we just get soaked because the waves were coming over the boat, so we just get more salt water on us and we'd get cold.
I didn't really want to be awake, I just wanted to sleep, wake up, and all this bad weather had gone.
The friction of being wet against the coarseness of the mattress we were on would generate more sores and issues with our bodies, so that was a challenge.
We've got PT, he is about to stand up and look at land for the first time in 52 days. So, PT, he's there. Oh, we'll have another look when the sun goes down a bit.
We're both hugely proud to have completed it, especially given the challenges we faced.
On reflection, a Hydropool hot tub would have been fantastic for us. We were spending a lot of time in the gym, and active recovery with the sports settings would have been great.
I'm fortunate enough to have one at home, and I would quite often get in my hot tub after long sessions on the row machine.
The massaging would have got rid of all of our niggles and pains that we had from the training, and certainly after the row would have quite enjoyed a few hours spent.
Great pieces of equipment to have at home for recovery and relaxation.
It was brilliant to bring Hydropool on because they really brought an active sort of side to our sponsorship, which was great. We wanted to represent an active wellness company that are focused on recovery and mental and physical well-being.
We nominated 2 charities at the beginning, Macmillan Cancer Support Jersey and Durrell Wildlife Conservation Trust. So we're currently up to 35.5k, and we're just hoping to keep pushing that up over 40k if we can.
I'm missing the water a lot, so since we came back we obviously spent 54 days at sea with nothing to see except water, which I quite enjoyed. It was always changing, but since I've been back in Jersey I'm really missing being at sea.
Living on the water, I mean it's not something I felt I'd enjoy, and you know, and there were times probably in the row that maybe I didn't enjoy it, but you know, I enjoyed plenty of it as well, and come the end, I mean, I did like the you know, the relaxation and the being at one with the water.
I feel a big calling towards the water now, more so than I ever have.
I often look out to sea as well and just think, you know, it would be nice to just have a few more nights out there and just, you know, be at one with the water.